Today we're going to drill and tap the barrel for a breech plug and drill the touch hole. At least a temporary touch hole. I might add in a touch hole liner later with a cup on the inside so that way it touches off easier, faster. But we are nice and centered in the front. And in the back you can see we got that little bit of run out. Or I should say it ran off to one side. You want to put the run out to the top, so that way it wants to go kind of downwards, and it's easier to lower your front sight to bring up the point of impact to where point of aim is, over having it down and having to have a super tall front sight to make point of aim, point of impact, or side to side where you'd have to have your front sight way over here, way over here. So we're only going about a 1/2 inch, 13 millimeter in, so I'm gonna just do this in the vise with the hand drill. It's not very critical. I'm using a 5/8 or 16 millimeter fine thread tap, and you can note, and you'll notice this is a plug tap, so that way I can get the threads as deep as I can. And this uses a 37/64 drill bit as its start. I have no clue what that is in metric. It's probably like 15 millimeter or 14.5, something like that. Let me get drill bit chucked up, the noisy generator started, and we'll get this drilled. Okay, here it is drilled. Now, I drilled it down to about 3/4 of an inch because this end, you can't really tell, there you go, is not square. So I'm gonna file this. There's gonna be lots of filing done on this, and that's why I made it a little deeper than usual. Now the tap. Now I don't have a tap wrench, but I found my twisting wrench works very well for running this tap. And for cutting fluid, again, I'm using automatic transmission fluid. Be very liberal with this stuff. Cutting fluid is cheap, taps are not. There we go. That's pretty good. Now, I was gonna say earlier when I was talking about the tap, using fine thread, because fine threads are stronger than coarse thread, but in muzzle loaders they usually use a coarse thread for the breech plugs, because while weaker, they resist a corrosion better than a fine thread will. I personally remove my breech plugs once a year to check for corrosion and head it off if it is ever happening. And I would hope any other responsible muzzleloader owner would do the same. So I'm not concerned with, oh, I think we bottomed out already. I'm not concerned with the downside of using a fine thread. Plus, it would take 100 years for that much fouling to accumulate, or that much corrosion to accumulate to lead to failure like that. Let's remove some chips. They're stopping us. See, I'm giving it very light bumps. Not torquing the tap super heavy. I want to get as close to that shoulder as I can. And I'm watching the tap for flexing. Once it flexes, like once I feel it hit that shoulder and it starts to flex, then I'm going to stop. Got one more full revolution out of it. And I think we could go a little more. I'll keep tapping this and show you when it's finished. We got them all the way right up to that, where the drill bit shoulders, where it starts to taper. We got them all the way down there. It's exactly what I wanted. Next, we will drill the touch hole. Now to drill the touch hole again, we're going to orientate the bore run out up. Which would be this flat here. So that means I want to drill into this flat here. Now I'm going to retrieve my center punch and mark where I want this hole to be. Now I'm going to want about a 1/4 inch or 6 mil in front of the face of my breech plug, which should be right here. This is a 1/16 of an inch, or I think it's a 1.5 millimeter cobalt drill bit. And I was using pretty much just the weight of the drill. Punch that on through. There we go. Now I'll grab one of my test breech plugs and we will proof this barrel in the next episode. I think we'll clean up all these faces, get them all nice and parallel. It's still got a bit of a twist, but we'll clean up all these faces, get it close to its final dimensions, and then we'll proof test it.